Hello and welcome to another review by Flight Sim Global. I'm Tom and today we will be taking a look at Aerosoft's Mega Airport Frankfurt version 2 for FSX, FSX Steam Edition, and Lockheed Martin's Prepared. Frankfurt was developed by the German airports team and published by Aerosoft. The scenery includes 140 square kilometers of ground imagery and covers a number of nearby towns. Blending of the ground textures with the surrounding FTX global terrain on my PC looked nice in all seasons. I did notice that at night some FTX global lights would appear over the taxiways and ramps near the run-up area. Getting up close with some of the buildings, it seems that some of the texturing is fairly low resolution. While from a moderate distance the textures still look good, it could also be better in places. The terminal building's textures are more well done, but there are still some missing 3D elements. A number of items, such as the Lufthansa logos, some parts of the building's architecture, and some more clutter-type objects along walls are just flat textures. This could be to save on resources in an already vast high location. Modeling is done well in most areas, including some of the structures such as the jet blast shields, maintenance hangar roofs, and some of the buildings behind the terminal. Frankfurt does have a number of moving airport vehicles around the terminal, such as buses and a monorail that are fun to watch out for while taxiing. Recently, a number of sceneries have been releasing with viewable terminal interiors from the ramp. It is a debate between simmers whether or not this is a good thing, looking at detail versus performance perspectives. Frankfurt is definitely a mega airport and, as mentioned earlier, has a decently heavy vast location, even with default scenery, so it is understandable why there is no internal modeling here. I will say that ground textures throughout the airport are well done. The paved areas are sharp up close and at distance. There are areas where the grass and access roads could have had higher quality textures, but it's not too detrimental as some are hard to see from the cockpit anyway. At night, the texture quality is similar to the day, but the lighting is done in a pleasant and atmospheric way that gives the airport a nice glow. Some of the 2D textures in place of 3D models appear to be more 3D with the shadowing work done, while other areas aren't lit up enough to matter. I also noticed that a lot of the taxiway and runway lights were 2D objects and looked odd from certain angles. Head-on, such as on approach, they look fantastic, but off to the side it's a minor distraction. A nice addition to the scenery is the automatic parking detectors at each gate and cargo ramp. The system will tell you where your nose wheel is relative to the center line and how long you have to travel until you need to stop. Out of the aircraft I tested, the system worked well for each one. On the northwestern section of the airport, one of Frankfurt's runways is only accessible by crossing a highway. The German airports team has done a nice job at recreating the ramps the aircraft need to travel over to access this runway. They do mention in the PDF manual that care must be taken over these so that your aircraft doesn't bounce with the sometimes goofy physics of the simulator. They also mention that AI will not access this runway as they travel through the ramps and don't actually go over them. I was not able to test it, but the airport is also compatible with Aerosoft's AES if moving jetways is something you desire. Documentation for this airport is something I was really impressed with. It comes with a 17-page user's manual including both German and English sections. Within it covers installation procedures, credits, a history of Frankfurt Airport, and a list of all the technical details one could need to fly in and out of Frankfurt. Also included as a separate PDF is 100 pages worth of charts and data for all the different phases of flight around Frankfurt. It is also worth noting that they mention the photographic material used to model and texture the buildings is from 2007. When all's said and done, Frankfurt is by no means a bad airport. Yes, the textures and modeling can do with some more detail in my opinion, but the airport is still in a great location. From the air, the airport is beautiful and blends flawlessly with the surroundings for my installation of FTX Global. I also didn't notice any sizable drop in frame rates while using the scenery compared to default Frankfurt. Coupled with superb documentation and an atmospheric environment, Frankfurt is a must-have for any inter-European or long-haul airliner pilot. If anyone has any questions or comments about the scenery, please make sure to leave a comment. But for now, thanks for watching, and as always, happy landings.